All right, can you hear me, Mr. Jahan?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we are on live at this moment. Can you see the button on the laptop over there? Probably can't see. I can see here. We are in live. All right. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
All
Am I
right.
audible to you?
All right. Yeah,
All
I
right.
can hear you as well. Yeah, audible as well.
Perfect,
So
perfect.
we're on live at this moment. Let's start the webinar. Hi. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending the time zone you belong to. So great welcome from ProInfo Native Consultant. I am Proshun, the CEO and founder of this company. So we have been in this industry for last 10 and a half years, since 2009, and we have been working for more over 50 to 60 universities in 5 continents throughout this long period of time. My company has the accreditation with different government and recognized professional certifications like ENZ from New Zealand education system, Quake from peer-based Australian education system, CCEA, Canadian education system organized by ICF itself from German-based, EMZS from Malaysia, and UniAscent, and many more in this industry. Today we have had with us the business development manager of University of Canada, stationed in Vancouver in Canada. Uh, he has been a very proactive and prominent personality in this part of the globe to operate his country. So it's our ultimate privilege that the business development officer, Mr. Walid Jahan, is with us. And how the things gonna be happen? We're gonna ask the gentleman a lot of questions about the Canadian education system, the university admission process, tuition fees, scholarships, the government's present strategy to recruit global students, the special privilege the Canadian government are offering international students, those who are going to be with their university under this unprecedented corona pandemic circumstances. So I would like to say very few words about the university. It's been established not so back like other universities like 100 or 50 years back, but they started with the very first phase of 2000. So it started by 2005. They have been focusing as of now on some really career-oriented programs, not focusing indiscriminately like many more universities. They are very career-focused universities, and they are a pro-trend. They have a pro-trend approach to the international students for the ultimate integration of the society. PSW, work permit, a lot of positive things the university is offering at this moment for the international students. Our officer gonna explain everything in details later phase. So he gonna explain, as I said, a lot of things, and the Canadian, basically the Canadian education as a whole. But more importantly, he gonna explain his university in details, the reason we are here, basically. So we have been working this university not for a longer period of time. Our company has been used to have a versatile policy to working with all continents, all countries. But recently, due to the change of the management, the company has taken the new strategic vision that we're going to work on some few universities, and to fulfill this uh, policy, actually, we are at this moment going to be a pro-Canadian education consultancy firm in this country. So here we're going to start with Mr. Walid Jahan. Hi, Mr. Jahan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Mr. Proshun?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Once again, you're most welcome to the webinar today, and we're gonna waiting to hear a lot of things from you, from my company perspective as well as the audience end as well. So, sir, could you please
Thank
tell
you
me
very much.
something that you most welcome. So, could you please start with your introduction? What's your task and responsibilities, and how can you help to the students in this country? And as discussed, that you're going to start with the presentation in-depth information over there, and later on, if I have any questions, any students, if you get any sort of questions from the comments, or you feel some sort of questions to arise, I'm going to ask you the questions, and you ask the question answers. So
Sure.
here you go. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Proshun. Well, guys, my name is Walid Jahan, and I'm the Business Development Manager for University Canada West. So I'm responsible particularly for Bangladesh market. So today I'm going to show you the presentation, all right, so that you get an overview of our university. So basically, University Canada West is a business-oriented teaching-intensive university based in Vancouver. So is my screen like visible to you?
Yeah, yeah. It's clear. It's very loose. It's crystal. It's clear. Very clear indeed.
Okay, perfect. So basically, University Canada West, as I said, it's a business-oriented and teaching-intensive university based in Vancouver, Canada. So it's in British Columbia province. First of all, if you are looking for any university or any program, it's very important to know about the place that you are going to stay for your, education period of time. So maybe in 4 years or 2 years, you're going to stay in that particular place. So it's very important to know about that place. So basically, Vancouver is a very famous in the world for its natural beauty and cultural diversity. And of course, the top sports include Stanley Park and its old growth cedar forests and surrounded by water views and sandy beaches. So the other thing is that, Canada is a very, very cold country, right? So usually what happen, most of the provinces during winter season, what happen is like the temperature goes like minus 30 degrees Celsius or something like that. So literally you're gonna frozen in that weather, in that temperature, right? But in Vancouver city, Vancouver is the only city in entire Canada where usually the temperature never ever goes below 0 degrees Celsius. So it's always in plus. So the environment, I mean the weather, is always chill. So Bangladeshi student doesn't face any difficulties to adapt with the weather. They can adapt with the weather very easily. So that's why Vancouver is very much famous. And another thing I want to add on, Canada is a country which is made up for highly skilled people from all around the world. And they're very welcoming towards international students. And as you know, Canada is a multicultural, the diversity is really, really amazing. So all type of people are living in Canada. So the city of Vancouver offers a wealth of study and work opportunities, and you will be surrounded by wonderful natural beauty. This is truly the ultimate place that where you want to be always. So if I'm talking about the outdoor activities, the weather is a very thrill seeking. You can explore like whatever you want. You can explore the mountain. You can explore the supermarkets and so on. Now let's talk about British Columbia province as a career destination. First of all, according to the British Columbia labor market forecast from 2018 to 2028, they're expecting 1.1% average job growth every year. So basically, they're expecting like 903,000 jobs will be open within this 10-year period of time. So already 2 years has gone. Now, within these 8 years, these vacancies will has to be filled by the international. So as a career destination, it's one of the best choice I would say, especially for international students. Now let's talk about the campus. We are at the heart of the city. We are in downtown Vancouver City, and our next upcoming intake is in July. So in July intake, we are moving to the Vancouver House, which is a new campus. So that was like designed by one of the biggest architecture firm. So this campus is basically is considered as the state of the art campus. Would be part of the amenities rich cultural magnet for the city. So basically, this campus is located beside the beach district and will be stayed from Sunset Beach and English Bay and Vancouver, 28-kilometer seawall, the world's longest uninterrupted waterfront path, and Granville Island, a world-class cultural attraction for locals and visitors nearby. So basically, this project, I'm talking about the campus itself and the Vancouver Tower. It's one of the like awarded future projects. So this project will be awarded because it's considered as world's one of the top 10 landscape. This campus and the location itself. So basically, Vancouver House will be open in, as I said, it will be open in July intake. So we will be having like 90,000 square feet campus with 2 podium building. So which is currently under construction, and we are about to finish the work. So very soon we are shifting the campus. So basically, the Vancouver House campus will be like featured with a green space and all of Vancouver urban amenities. And we are expecting to accommodate it like more than 3,400 students at a time, with all kinds of facilities. So this is the campus map. Now let's talk about the accreditation and membership. So first of all, University Canada West is a very small university. We are business-oriented university. So basically, we do offer all the business-related program. So our business school is ACBSB accredited, and recently we have obtained WCSB membership. And yeah, we do have a BCCAT accreditation. So that means, let's say, for example, if any student is currently studying at our university in a bachelor degree, let's say after 2 years they want to shift to any top-ranked university, for example, University of British Columbia, they can easily transfer their credit to University of British Columbia. So that is the assurance of BCCAT. BCCAT means British Columbia Council on Admissions and Transfer. So that's the assurance of having this accreditation. So let's move on to the accommodation. So basically, Vancouver City is quite expensive. Consider any other Canadian cities. So on-campus accommodation will be a bit expensive. So that's why what we did, we have allied with private accommodation service, which is called forstay.com. So basically, they are the private accommodation services. They have ranges of accommodation. So it depends on the student, what accommodation they want and what is the desire. So based on their preference, they can book their accommodation. And the good thing about this private accommodation service is that the student does not have to pay any advance payment to book their accommodation. It can be booked without paying any advance. So let's move on to ranking of Canada and British Columbia. So according to the annual best country survey, Canada is ranked second. And if I'm talking about the best countries for education, Canada is ranked as third. And if I'm talking about the Vancouver city itself, it's according to The Economist, Vancouver city is third livable city in the world. So, and in Canada, it's #1 livable city. Because after Melbourne, Sydney and Melbourne, Vancouver city is considered as third livable city in the world. Now let's talk about the benefits of studying University Canada West. So basically, we do have a range of scholarship and awards and grants that is available for our international students. And we have a very small classroom size so that the student get the hands-on experience and engage with the faculties. And we do have 4 intakes in a year, which is started from October, January, April, and July. These 4 are the intakes. So, which is quite rare to found in Canadian university. Most of the university offers 2 semesters in a year. Like the biggest semester is September and January, but we have 4 semesters in a year. And our business school is ACPSP accredited. That is what I've mentioned earlier. And our faculty members are quite knowledgeable with first-hand experience in the industry. And if any student wants, since we have 4 intakes in a year, so if a student wants, they can complete their bachelor degree within 2.5 years instead of studying 4 years. So that is what possible at our university. So interact with real organization. So basically, University Canada West regularly invites industry professionals to share their life experience and provide you with the opportunity to network. So let's move on to the program that we have to offer for our international students. First of all, I want to mention about our MBA program, which is we are quite popular for this program. So our MBA program entry requirement is that a student must have a bachelor degree from Bangladesh, and they should have CGPA of 3.0 out of 4, and plus they should be graduated with business studies or business administration or Bachelor of Commerce, or a student must have 3 years of professional work experience if they come from different background. Business graduate, but fresh graduate, they can start with our MBA program. But let's say if a student comes from different background, for example, social science, engineering background, or any other background which is not related to business, in that case, they must have 3 years of professional work experience, which is true. They have to demonstrate that they are involving with the real business world. That's why they are willing to pursue the MBA for career progression. So, or else, let's say if a student are from different background, but they have GMAT or GRE score, with that, they can also get the acceptance for our MBA program. But for example, if a student comes from a different background, but do not have any work experience or any of this GMAT or GRE score, the standardized test score, then they can start with our MBA foundation course. It's a 1 semester additional they have to study. That's a fact. But MBA foundation is not a different program. Or let's say if a student is from business, a student is a business graduate, but their CGPA is below 3. Okay. For example, they have 2.4 and above CGPA. In that case, they can start with MBA foundation course. So MBA foundation is just only 1 semester. You have to study 3 basic fundamental course of business. Okay, so it's not a different program. So it's a complete MBA program, but that depends on a student academic qualification and previous work experience, whether they are eligible for MBA direct or they have to study 1 semester additional for the foundation program. Now let's move on to our bachelor degree program. We do have a Bachelor of Commerce, which is the general bachelor degree program in business. So basically, Bachelor of Commerce is a mix of all the business courses. If a student want to later on pursue the CPA program, which is a professional degree, they can major in accounting, Bachelor of Commerce in accounting. We have only accounting major. Rather than accounting, we have the general BBA, you can say, similar to BBA, Bachelor of Commerce. So the entry criteria for this program is that for Bangladeshi student, a student must have a HSC, higher secondary certificate, or 12th grade, whatever you say, they must have 3.5 GPA out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. And if a student has A levels, then they should have 2 subjects in A levels, and both has to be C and above, the grades. Apart from this, we do accept GED after O level. If a student has GED, they can also apply for our bachelor degree program directly. And we do also accept the credit transfer up to 2 years. Let's say if any student is currently studying in any private university in Bangladesh or public university, they can apply for the credit transfer to our university. So they can get maximum 2 years of credit exemption based on their course curriculum, and we will definitely do the course mapping. So based on that, the waiver will be given. So the same entry criteria goes for our Bachelor of Arts program. So Bachelor of Arts in Business, Bachelor of Arts in Business Communication. It's the interdisciplinary program, which is a mix of media, cultural studies, and business, and mass communication, of course. So the entry criteria is same as Bachelor of Commerce. It's a 4 years bachelor degree. And if I'm talking about the Ielts requirement, our university particularly require overall 6.5 in Ielts, especially in writing 6.0, and no other band less than 5.5. Or let's say if a student has 6.5 overall, no individual band less than 6, then it's great. So basically that's the entry requirement for our Ielts. Now we do also accept the PTE. If a student has PTE, then they must have 62 overall with no individual band less than 58. And due to the COVID-19, for the pandemic situation, the IELTS centers or PTE or TOEFL centers are completely closed right at this moment in Bangladesh. So considering that situation, we are accepting Duolingo English test, which can be, that test can be taken by sitting at home. So it's an online-based English proficiency test, and it's quite convenient. So we do accept Duolingo test. For Duolingo, the requirement is 105. So it's quite straightforward, the entry requirement. And now let's move on to associate degree, Associate of Arts. Since we are business-oriented university, we don't have any engineering program. So for those who want to pursue engineering degree, so for those students, we have Associate of Arts. So it's by name, it's an arts program, Associate of Arts, but it's a 2 years bachelor degree program, which has 2 majors. Either a student can go for science or business. So if a student go for science later on, for 3rd year and 4th year, they can transfer their credit to any university and complete their bachelor degree in engineering or science related program. Or if a student go for a business program, then later on they can continue at our university. So the good thing about studying this program is that it's a 2 years degree. So after completing 2 years of their degree, a student can apply for postgraduate work permit visa up to 3 years. So meanwhile, they can earn a good amount of money, and they can save it for their 3rd year and 4th year of education. They don't have to take money from their parents. So that's the good thing about this program. So the entry requirement is exactly same as Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Arts in Business Communication. Plus IELTS requirement is exactly the same. Now let's talk about the preparatory program. So I was talking about the MBA Foundation, those students who is a business graduate or fresh graduate from different background. So they can start with MBA Foundation. Or if a student comes from a business background, but their CGPA is below 3, they can start with MBA Foundation course. So it's not a different program, it's a complete MBA degree. they have to study one semester additional because their CGPA is below 3. That's why. Or they come from different background rather than business, but without having any prior work experience, then they can start with MBA foundation course. The IELTS requirement is exactly the same, 6.5 overall, especially in writing 6, no other band less than 5.5, or Duolingo test, 105 overall, or PTE 62, or TOEFL. So now let's move on to University Access Program. We call it UAP. It's an English program. For those students who has a IELTS score of less than that, which you require to get into our program. So basically, let's say, for example, a student has overall IELTS score of 6 with no individual band less than 5.5. In that case, they can study 3 months of English program. So it's not ESL, because ESL is basically for like 1 year. So it's 3 months of English program. So up to 3 months, it's okay for Bangladeshi student to apply for this program, because they don't have any risk for the visa. But more than 3 months, there's a risk. So we usually don't recommend for Bangladeshi student to go for 1 year of University Access Program. So let's talk about the admission process. It's quite straightforward. Students have to apply through our recruitment partners. So our recruitment partner is ProInfo. ProInfo is one of our recruitment partners. So if you want, you can contact with ProInfo, an edu consultancy. So basically, you have to submit all your academic certificate and transcript to ProInfo through email. And if a student want to apply for MBA program, then updated CV and photocopy and English proficiency test certificates. And we do have an application fee of 150 Canadian dollar. But since the pandemic situation is going on, we understand the situation currently, the financial situation for our students and their parents as well. So what we do is, like, if a student has IELTS score of 6 in individual band, we can waive the application fee. Then the application fee will be completely free of cost. We can waive that. But that depends on their English proficiency test score. IELTS equivalent in English proficiency test, but you have to make sure that it's like 6 and above in each individual band. Let's talk about the tuition fees. Our tuition fee is quite reasonable compared to any Canadian university. Why? The reason is that our MBA tuition fee for 2 years is 35,100 Canadian dollar, which is quite reasonable. My slide is not updated one, because currently we are charging, we have split the tuition fee equally for first year and second year both. First year, a student have to pay 17,550, second year the same. So initially, once you receive your unconditional offer, you have to make a tuition deposit for first semester, which is 7,900 Canadian dollar. So once you pay the tuition deposit, we will issue the letter of acceptance, LOA, which is through you can apply for your visa. And if a student is required to study MBA foundation, I mean additional 1 semester, then that will cost additional 7,020 Canadian dollar. So if I sum up with 35,000 plus 7,000, that means 42,120 Canadian dollar, including the MBA foundation. And without MBA foundation, only 35,100 Canadian dollar for 2 years. For bachelor degree, our tuition fee is like 69,600 Canadian dollar. So every year 17,400 the tuition fee. And associate degree will cost 34,800, which is like 17,400 first year and second year the same. And University Access Program, the English program, for 3 months, it will cost 4,950 Canadian dollar additional if a student required to study English course, if they don't meet the IELTS requirement minimum. Now let's move on to the scholarship opportunity. We have numerous number of scholarship for our international students. So right at this moment for Bangladeshi student, we have a scholarship for academic excellence. We do offer a scholarship up to 20,000 Canadian dollar for our bachelor degree program. So let's say if you get a scholarship of 20,000, then you have to pay 49,600 Canadian dollar for 4 years bachelor degree program. And for MBA, we do offer maximum 10,000 Canadian dollar scholarship. So if you get 10,000 scholarship, then you have to pay only 25,000 for 2 years MBA program. So with this tuition fee, it's quite impossible to find an MBA program in Canada. I mean, after the scholarship, right? So it's quite exciting. And for those students who are required to study MBA foundation course, I mean, the additional 1 semester, they can also get 6,500 Canadian dollar scholarship. So basically, for foundation course, they're paying only 520 Canadian dollar additional. So that's the thing. And for scholarship, you have to write. For scholarship, you have to fill out the scholarship application form, and you have to write a very unique personal statement or SOP, statement of purpose. Whatever you say or essay, you have to write it on. Like you have to highlight on why should we give you the scholarship, how that's going to benefit you in your future career, and what are the leadership skills that you have in your student life or currently. And once you complete your MBA, once you come back to your country, how you gonna like how you gonna help your community to develop. So these are the key points that you have to highlight on your essay to get the scholarship. Okay, so that is very important. So you have to work on your essay very seriously if you really want to get this scholarship. And we have 4 intakes in here, as I have mentioned, starting from January, April, July, and October. So currently, July is a summer semester. So basically, for July, we are not recommending any applicant to apply now because it's already June. The application deadline is already over. So currently, we are accepting application for October. So I would highly recommend those who are really interested to start their education journey by this year. They should apply straight away without delay. So now, due to the pandemic situation, you might have a question like whether would I be able to visit Canada? Well, the answer to your question is definitely you can, because once the travel ban is lifted from Bangladesh, you can easily travel to Canada because Canadian government is accepting the students. They can travel to Canada, so it's okay. And our campus will be open by next month. So yeah, the situation is under control right at this moment in British Columbia province, especially in Vancouver City. So we are planning to open up our campus by next month for our July intake. So basically, in order to maintain the social distancing, we have arranged the blended learning program. So basically, half of the student will be conducting their class online by sitting at home, and half of the student will be on campus. And it will be on the rotation, all right? Half of the student will be on campus, and next time another half of the student can study on campus. It's like that actually, just to maintain the social distancing. So let's talk about the employment opportunity in Canada. So basically, we have a career service department. So where a student can get the help to search for their job search, and they can develop their CV with the help of career service department, and they will help for the networking opportunity. So basically, during their student study in Canada, they can work part-time, weekly 20 hours. So during the summer semester, they can work full time, and once they complete their education in 2 years at least, for example, they complete their MBA in 2 years or bachelor degree, whatever, they can apply for postgraduate work permit visa up to 3 years. So if I'm talking about the employability, basically the good thing about our university is that the employment rate is 100% within the 6 months of graduation. 100% employment. So this is one of the biggest USP I would say about our university, because the intensity of our program, it's really like, intense. So our alumni are currently working Seneca College, IBM, British Columbia Provincial Government, Accenture, RBC Royal Bank, and so on. So we do have expert faculty members. So if I'm talking about the faculty, all our faculties has like more than 15 years plus work experience in a business industry, plus teaching experience as well. So majority of our faculty members are teaching in University of British Columbia as well. So basically the thing is that the same, you are getting the same facility that University of British Columbia students get, because the teachers are, the same teachers are teaching at our university. So this is the advantage of studying University Canada West with reasonable tuition fees. So these are few testimonials of our student. So that's all about University Canada West, and if you have further question or any queries, you can write me email or contact with ProInfo. So yep, that's all. So now I would like to take some question if a student has any questions. So Mr. Proshun, over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Walid Jahan. It was a very informative session actually. The questions gonna come from the student end or my end. Almost all of us have got almost all the question answers from your detailed information. I'd like to just summarize your very pragmatic and information sessions with the this, like the best things your university are offering at this moment for the international students are, as you said, like the next month you are going to open your campus on-campus education system concerned. So this is an unique approach by your university. We'd like to really thankful to you that our existing students, if we have or anybody can have as an independent student, he can fly to the campus as soon as the ban from Bangladesh government is over to fly. Secondly, we can see that your employment rate is you said 100%, and you said the present alumni where they're working some prestigious organizations, educational institutions, and government bodies they have been working. You have the variety of semesters, unlike most of the universities. You said you have 4 very available semesters, so student can get admission any stage of the year. We can see, because it takes usually 2-3 months to processing the application to get the visa. So anybody students want to start education over in Canada, instantly you can offer we can issue the offer letter within a month or something like that. It has a variety of options throughout the year. You say,
so Mr. President, I want to add something with you. What we do, if the students submit all the document on time, we usually issue the unconditional offer within 1 week. And once a student make the tuition deposit, we can issue the letter of acceptance within 1 week as well. So the entire process itself can be done within 2 weeks maximum.
That's appreciable.
Yeah, and another thing is that right at this moment, since the VFS is closed and we are expecting the VFS to be open very soon, But the thing is that according to the Canadian government, the recent updated news is that if any student apply for the visa online, all right, so they have to provide the biometric to the VFS, right? So since the VFS are closed, so they cannot provide the biometrics, right? So in this situation, a student visa will not be rejected. Okay,
That's
so the biometric can be provided once the student is about to collect their passport. Let's say they already obtained the visa. Okay, now they can collect their passport. While they're collecting their passport, they may submit their biometrics that time.
I think
Even
considering, yeah,
yeah,
carry
considering this situation, right? So
considering this, I'm sorry. I mean, the considering the overall foreign policy in a country like Canada, we have been working with almost all continents apart from the Latin America, as I said. So none of the government, I can assure, that has been so proactive as far as the international student recruitment is concerned. Canada is Canada is showing their character to recruit the international student in a different way than all other most of the countries. Say almost all countries in the world. They have been very proactive in this concern. The Trudeau government has taken some drastic actions, and also they have provided some other facilities for the existing students over there as well. As I mentioned actually earlier, apart from the scholarships and the available of the semesters over there, also there the University of Canada West has a unique program of associate program, as Mr. Jahan mentioned in his um, presentation, that after completing the 2 years, a student can apply for the work permit, PSW work permit, what you say, and can earn significant amount of Canadian dollar to continue his or her further education over there. So it's a great pathway and realistic program, I can say. And another thing, as at the very first phase of the presentation, Mr. Walid informed us that, and we know that Canada is a very cold-prone country. So the Vancouver is an exception, I can say. It's like some most of the times, it's not most of the times, about half of the year, it is like the tropical zone of Canada, we can say. And as per as the recent statistics, that Vancouver has secured as the third most uh, what I say. The living cosmopolitan in the world. So it's a unique place to study, I guess. And the tuition fees, descriptions, and the scholarship, and the combination of this approach, Mr. Walid expressed a while earlier. So it's very cheap ultimately if you calculate the whole process of paying the tuition fees structure. So it's if you summarize the total structure, it's within the lowest possible fees a student can have. MBA degree in Canada can settle down over there. The most of the third development countries, students and parents alike has nurtured a vision or aim that once they're going to complete their education, they're going to stay over there and settle down over there. So it's a great pathway, platform in this concern. The Canadian University of uh, West, they're playing. Mr. Jahan, I would like to ask you a few just specific questions, like how some programs you have, like MBA program you have, say for example, very career oriented and focused program. How how the accomplishment of this program is correlated with the students' PSW over there. What's the process? Could you just just
okay,
tell about this?
for example, if I say, if you look for the NOC, the National Occupation List of Canada, all right, which their lack of, like, let's say, what would say, their lack of, like, right at this moment in business field, their lack of sales manager, their lack of like a human resource manager or a financial analyst, right? So basically, our MBA program, we specifically offers majors in finance, marketing, and human resource management. These three majors, especially because these three programs, I mean, like especially in Canada, these three particular field has a lack of expertise. So that's how it is correlated to the students' education. And in during the 2 years of MBA program, a student can finish their MBA in 5 semesters. What we recommend our student to go for one mandatory internship in between 2 years before they complete their final semester, so that they can gain some work experience and adapt with the Canadian culture and everything, so that later on that would be very very helpful for them to find a full-time job and settle in Canada very easily. And every semester we do arrange the we invite the industry expert to share their opinion and their experience with our students, so that they can be more motivated and how to build a strong network in Canada. So that's how we relate with the job market, and our education is incorporated with that.
All right. Thank you so much for the information. Just I got a question from Rashidul Hassan. He said that as the university is permitting the Duolingo test because of the corona circumstances, the corona pandemic over there. So that, say for example, if a student get, as you say, the benchmark is 105. So once a student completed his Duolingo, I mean, he passed, like he got over 105 or 1 hour. So will he again, or she has to appear for the Ielts or any sort of English language proficiency later on? I mean, once they will be there, or is there any sort of criteria they have to meet, or just if they passed from the Duolingo and secured result marks like 105 or something like that onwards? So is that be fine?
Of course not. Basically, see, the thing is that it should be all right. Once the students submit an English proficiency test, which is accepted by University Canada West, it's okay. They don't have to sit for any other English course or anything, because it's completely the university authority decision whether they which English proficiency test they will be accepting, right? So in that case, it's not necessary until this year. Up to this year, we can accept it. That's fine until further notice or anything like that.
I understand. Yeah, yeah, it's a good approach actually from university. And
And the Duolingo test is not an ordinary test actually. Most of the North American countries like USA based, most of the top ranked university also accept the Duolingo test. So it's completely all right.
all right. So I'd like to ask another question. Someone put it there, like, what would be the accommodation? What do you say? What is the accommodation cost over there in Vancouver if we stay together in a room or something like that? Could you tell me something about the accommodation over there? I mean,
It actually depends. There are ranges of accommodation facility. Sometimes it might start at from 500 Canadian dollar plus 500, 700, 800 like this. So it depends on their lifestyle, what type of like accommodation they prefer. So it depends. So basically, stay.com is the private accommodation service. We are incorporating with them. So they have ranges of accommodation facilities. So if a student is interested, they can browse their website and find the suitable accommodation for them.
I can share here as far as the accommodation is concerned. I was in abroad for a long period of time. I know actually what happens with the students from the third development country. It basically doesn't follows the exact rules as you find in the website in the concerned universities. Because what happened when we've been to when you go to the foreign universities, the prescription, the figure we mentioned, we found in the different websites, that's basically the very standardized system of accommodation, like in a room, single room you are staying, or with
Right.
two. But what happened with the students like third development countries? We when we go, or when our students go to the different universities abroad, two or three students stay together in a room. They share with the same food or something like that. The cost, per head cost, basically it goes down to a significant level. I mean,
Actually, there are several ways to save the cost. I mean, within a you can easily live within a budget actually. So there are
that's
a
right.
lot of ways. So yeah, basically, the once the student is step in Canada, they can find their own way over the
That's
time.
that's correct, and it is not as much expensive as United Kingdom or somewhere. It's not that much expensive, but
Mr. Prasad, to be very honest with you, the living cost in
Vancouver.
London, if I compare with London and Vancouver, right? So London is still expensive than Vancouver, I would say.
Actually, as you mentioned, that Vancouver has been ranked as the third most popular living cosmopolitan in the world. So based on the things, and if we also think about the Canadian other cities, cosmopolitans, Vancouver is the leading and the favorable place for the people over there. So eventually, it leads to the higher expense in comparison
And
to the other parts of the
the
Canada.
position we are in, the location we are in currently, it's a downtown. All the big companies, everything is just like in walking distance from the campus.
I saw
So yeah,
I saw it in the campus, though not physically. Uh, One more thing, actually, I'd like to ask. Like, you got a new campuses to be opened in June, or it has been July or open? It's already been the new
it will be
campus,
open in July.
July, right?
We are
So,
ready to shift. Yeah, we are ready to shift because the July intake is our next semester. So we will be starting our July semester from new campus.
okay, how distance is it from the existing one to the another one?
It's very nearby,
Okay.
not so far.
Do you have at this moment any on-campus accommodation, these sort of things?
As I mentioned, Mr. President, on-campus accommodation will be like very expensive. So we know how our students, because in our university, most of the Asian students are studying, apart from the Canadian students, right? So we know about how to cater those students. So that's why, so that a student can live with their limited budget, we have alliance with forestay.com, which has ranges of accommodation. All right, so the student can find the accommodation like in 5 minute walking distance from the campus also. So yeah.
One more thing I would like to hear from you, in as you know, the Vancouver is a very vibrant and very internationalized cosmopolitan, one of the biggest city in Canada as well. But what about the availability of part-time jobs for the international students? Could you just tell us
As I
something
said,
about?
our campus is in downtown. So for example, if I give you an example, okay, you are living in Dhaka. Dhaka is the city, right? Main city.
Right,
So if you're living in Dhaka, you can find a job easily because more shopping malls, restaurants, and everything is over here, right?
right.
But if you're living outside of Dhaka, do you think you can find a job over there? It's really difficult, right? Exactly. So same thing happens in Canada. If you're living in a city like Vancouver, so definitely you don't have to worry much about your part-time jobs. So it's really available.
I understand. Yeah, that's what actually I'm feeling as well. Um, and we are almost at the end of our living session. Um, as you know that, as you mentioned that out of this pandemic, almost all governments has taken the initiatives not to start class on campus, They're trying to focus on the online classes for the international students. And once the pandemic is over, or the travel ban is gonna be over, the student can straight fly and start on campus straight away. But Canadian government, we found that had taken the different initiatives. Recently, I got a few admissions actually last week, and the admissions process is it's like having some sort of demarcation. Are we going to start in the online classes or the on campuses? That means they have the options. Most of the universities, the student can start.
Basically, we already have.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Basically, we already have started our online classes for April intake. Those students who enroll for April, we already have started the online class. And recently, we have developed one program which is called, like, our MBA program is a blended learning program. So,
Yes.
for example, if a student obtain the visa, all right. So let's say the travel ban is not lifted yet from Bangladesh, okay? What they can do, first semester, they can study online by sitting at their home. And from second semester onwards, they can join the on campus. Because
That,
we all know this situation, we will get relief someday of this situation. It's not gonna like contain so long. So ultimately, maximum at the end of this year, everything will be normal, back to normal, because we have to be. We
we
have
have
to
to,
live with
right.
it. We have to get to this. So if we maintain the certain conditions like the social distancing and all these stuffs, if we stay safe, then definitely there's no issue. Because I mean, like what I always say, we cannot sit idle. We are continuously working for our student. Yeah, the pandemic situation is going on, but still we are supporting all our students. We are working 24/7 to support all our students. So yeah, so the pandemic cannot hold our student to chase their dream of
Yeah,
higher
we
study in
must,
Canada. So
that's for sure. We
exactly.
must be we must be optimistic. Any one of the options, either vaccination or the medical terminology we are reiterating again and again by the expert in this sector, that herd immunity. Either one has to come, to take up
Yeah.
these activities of human civilization forward. Someone will come. We must
Exactly.
be optimistic. And could you just tell me, like, the last few questions I'm going to ask? The before the last questions, that recently I have went through the Canadian immigration website. They say the Canadian government has clarified on the issue that if students start the online classes initial phase, like one
Yeah.
semester, something like that, it will not affect their PSW work permit over there, something like
Yeah,
that.
correct, correct. If let's say right at this moment, if you study 50% of their course online and 50% on campus, it will not affect their postgraduate work permit visa.
That's the most motivated approach by the government, and that's the language, that's the information actually we want to hear from our end, student end and the recruiter end, that if the government assure these sort of promises, then we can be optimistic, and students and parents can be optimistic as well. And
Right.
okay, so the last questions we have had a very informative and exchanging information between us. Uh, but the last, not the least questions I'm going to ask you about these things. You said that you are kind of demotivated to go for this July intake. Instead, which intake my students can apply for your programs? Not the July one, you said, right?
I would recommend to go for October, September,
October.
September intake. Yeah.
September, that's the one. Yeah, yeah, I understand. So students can have some time on their hand. If not the IELTS, they can go for PTE or Duolingo test. I think getting 105 in Duolingo is not a tough task. I saw it personally. I went through the experiment. It's not tough. If you're just moderate user in English language, that's gonna be fine. So yes, it was really nice to be here with you, Mr. Walid, and I hope my students and parents and the viewers, audience, and whoever watching this program, they have come across a lot of informative session, and we have exchanged a lot of questions with you. We got all the answers in details, and however, if you have any question to ask, you can see our email over there, copsbdtu@gmail.com. Your phone number is there on phone number, so you can communicate with us. We can be here to hear the questions, inquiries, whatever you can ask, and we'll answer you within the shortest possible of time. So thank you very much once again, and Mr. Walid, if you want to say some final words to the audience, please, the floor is yours.
So sure. Thank you, Mr. Proshun. So I want to tell all the students that uh, don't panic. First of all, stay home, stay safe, and never let go. Let your higher education dream. So yeah, and think positive. Be positive. That is what I want to say.
All
And
right.
thank you very much, Mr. Proshun, for having me here today on the live session. So yeah, students, please contact with Mr. Proshun. He's a very expert in this industry for quite a long time, and he's one of our special partner for University Canada West. So you can easily reach him anytime and process for your application if you're interested to study in University Canada West.
Thank you
So
so much.
that's all. Thank you very much.
That's the end, basically, the session. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Walid Jahan. It's so kind of you, and it's our privilege that you are with us. And I would like to thanks to all of the viewers, students, parents, and the people who have been watching us all over the world, the country, or anywhere in Canada, Bangladesh, wherever. So thank you so much. Thank you so much indeed. And that is the end of the session. And have a good time, and please try to stay home, try to stay save yourself, your families, near and dear ones. Thank you so much. So that is the end of the session today. Thank you so much once again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.